about the cultural aspect of your sexuality, and the desires of that within Tavi. The reason why I wanted to bring an African, or let me say a black aspect in, because when it comes to us, colored, Indian, I think, yeah, us and black, we're not exposed to speaking about these things, and it really gets irritating sometimes, because people think, or people, let me say, you get into a box, and when you have trouble in your marriage sexually, you keep quiet, especially for our people. So I wanted to bring Tavi on, that so that we could literally speak about that. I will bring her on. I said I'm going to record her, but she's busy. She run her own business, so she gets really busy in time. We're trying to sort out, because everybody wants to hear her live. We'll bring her back in in next month, and she can speak to us about these things. And then last week we had Dr. Baez here. He spoke about different things. I'm just going to go quickly through it. How we spoke about love. We spoke about love maps and what love maps is, and how to understand each other. Understanding that we all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different, like I made an example that I had no reference of marriage. I had no reference of marriage. That's how serious it was for me. So elke maand, or I was speaking to Mariana about it today, every month I had black bags packing, because the marriage understanding I had in my head was fairy tale. It was frosty, it was all those other things. It was beautiful, and it's supposed to be all lovey-dovey all the time. Like, I didn't believe there should be any animosity and those kind of things. And you only start seeing each other's realness, or you start seeing the real people, or the real person, or the real partner when you are married. And I tell you, there's something about marriage that just aggravates the devil, that whenever you say I do and walk down the aisle, or you sign on the paper saying I'm going to be Mrs. something, there's this attack that comes on a family that's from the pit of hell. So I wanted this month, I wanted to bring in some ministers and some Bible believing people that will speak real to us, and people like Dr. Baez, who spoke last week, and Dr. Leon Klein, you know, that we're still trying to get on, like him. I want to bring them on so they can speak the reality to us, because people have this understanding that we all sleep on beautiful rose beds every night, not knowing that you throw out your dirt every day. It's like, it's messy. It gets so messy sometimes. But no one tells us these things. No one tells us what to look out for, how to love one another daily. Waking up every day, you have to learn to love that person better than you loved the person yesterday. And this has got nothing to do with, this is now all Christian based. This got to do with a rule there is. It's just a general rule that let's forget about yesterday and let's focus on today and love that person over again. I also spoke about having the issue of having the issue of people who used to say, please, you know, when you get all this presentations or all the speeches at your wedding, and it is all about, you mustn't go sleep angry at each other, don't let the sun go down in your anger. The question is, if you had a fight before you slept, and you want to talk it out, most of the time, because women are very out there and women speak and women keep things like elephants, what happened most of the time is you're going to say the wrong things before you go to bed anyway, even though you say sorry and you have makeup, you know what I mean. Makeup love making, or makeup sex, you will say, it's still gonna hover out there. And that's why you constantly think of people that want to go through divorce, and that want to go and that are standing at the rate of divorce, is a lot of things piled up on a woman. Because women are taught that you must keep quiet and you must submit, which I've got no problem with, you know. Okay, let me try this, Doc. I'm adding you. It's saying adding my side. You need to accept it, that side. Connect. Yeah! Welcome! Finally.
Ah,
I was about to
then
wrap.
I'm on.
You on, but you have to tilt your phone. Tilt your phone like this.
This is just so terrible. I don't know what has happened. I've been
No,
in
it's
hell.
okay. It's okay. Yay! I'm having a fat chat my
Wow.
side. Hello, guys. Can you guys welcome Dr. Leon? Like, let's hear the claps. There you go. There you go. Thank you, babes.
Okay.
It's my husband who helped, guys. I want you to know that I have a husband. I have a husband.
Just a second quickly. Oh, my word. The
Hello.
devil is in the detail. Hello. So I'm going to keep it like this now because I cannot.
I knew you were going to come.
Cannot do
I knew you were going to help me.
anything
You're going to
more.
sort it out.
Oh.
I thought for a minute you had a sleeping tablet and you're not waking up. I was like, Lord,
No.
somebody wake him.
My daughter was on this. My wife was on it. Your husband was on it, and still we couldn't get through. I don't know.
Oh, man. Can you hear me?
Wow. I can hear you very clearly.
Perfectly.
I can hear you.
Oh, it's nice. I like the hair.
Oh, thank you so much. And sorry, this thing is going to be bumpy because I'm keeping it in my hand. My stand, with all of the fiddling, the stand is broken as well. My word.
It's fine. We'll have a bumpy ride. And that's how marriage is, isn't it? It's bumpy.
Oh, wow. I'm in hell. I was just in.
Okay, your audio is gone. Your audio is gone. Can you just check your audio? There you back. Welcome. We're going to go through this. Don't worry. Illustration
This is terrible. I have no clue what's happening here tonight. But in any case, we are here and you can see me and I can hear you. And I'm so sorry about this. But we're going to get through it. Thank you. Thank you very much. And you're looking like a non.
Like a dominee vrou, nee.
A dominee vrou?
Ja, denk je toch niet zo nie?
Die ou dominee vrou, de ou.
Ik moet reg gelyk as ek met dominee praat. Luckily, there's no one here who don't understand Afrikaans. I've made sure that everyone understands. But we're going to speak English for YouTube.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great. Yes.
All right, let's start.
Wow, sure.
How was the retreat? Let's go there. It's so serious. I said, let's just speak about the retreat. How was it?
The retreat.
Yes,
the retreat is still happening.
Did you do something?
No, that was last week that I've done. I've done something for. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I've done something for Limpopo district, and prior to that, for Northern Free State and Lesotho, and so yeah, wonderful. I absolutely enjoy doing these things, but I'm really so sorry about this. Lots of time wasted, eh?
No, it's okay. I'll talk
all right.
to buy extra data.
Right. Yeah, tell them I will send them extra data, all of them, okay? Because they've been on this now for a long time.
Extra data. Extra data. 100 megabytes each.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's start so we won't get the people who's very excited to be here. Mariana, can you tell Savvy and Anador and Maylene and Janie, them all that was here before, that we are back and Dr. Leon is here? But everybody's going to watch the replay, so it's going to be lovely to do that. So let's start. Do you believe in Valentine's, though? Let's start there. Do you believe like
Valentine's Day?
Valentine's?
Man, Justine, I must say yes and no. And let me quickly start with a no. Let me start with a no. You know, when this whole concept is secularized and commercialized, it puts me off a little bit, because then we get distracted from what this is ought to be saying and doing, you know. But on the yes side, I think it is really, really fantastic, because Valentine's Day helps us to pause. It helps us to stop in the rush of things. We need these moments where we just are helped to stop and to think and to do things. So Valentine's Day helps us to, in a tangible way, in a concrete way, give expression to what love is. And I think we should be celebrating that. You know, it helps us to be present. So no matter what you've done, it stops you, and you can show appreciation, you can show love. You say, I am here. You say, I am present. I care. I feel. I appreciate. You say, I love. You say, I make the effort to stop and to see you. and to be with you. So from that perspective, it is an absolute yes. You also get people who say that, you know, Valentine's Day should be an everyday phenomenon, but I don't really believe that.
Good.
Just imagine every day, every
Yeah.
single day, flowers and chocolate and all of those things. My word, we will be sent to the poor house.
To the poor. And the flowers you have to buy, you have to be specific.
Every single
Luckily, I
day.
am allergic to flowers, so my husband don't go through that.
All right.
With me.
Yes. But I do think that there's value in Valentine's Day. It helps us, as I've said early on, to just pause and to begin to appreciate one another in that moment and be present. Yes.
Yeah. That's so nice. It's so nice. We were excited then. I don't know if you saw, I was posting about perfect. I first said marriage is from hell. And because I wanted to attract people. And then I said, no, guys, actually meaning the perfect marriages is from hell. So everybody on here now is excited. Some have gone off, of course, but they'll watch the replay, as they said. But I want you to speak about that, because I remember when you said you were launching this book, I was like, what do you mean that I made the wrong, did I make a mistake here? Like, you know, I can go back being single now. Perfect marriages is from hell. I want you to explain that to people so they can understand what you actually, you know, just summarize the whole, Yes.
You know, people do get a shock when they look at the title. But remember, don't judge a book by its cover. Okay. Okay, so you're needing to go into it and begin to understand, you know, perfect marriages are from hell. And I think the concept that I'm trying to emphasize there is simply that out of 5 marriages, 3 of those marriages would end up in crisis, you know? And that crisis that I'm talking about, that is the hell. But what makes it hell is this. People begin to cover up, they begin to pretend, they begin to, you know, show that this thing is not as bad as it really is. But Justine and your listeners, let me tell you this, that on the outside, these marriages are looking absolutely beautiful and perfect. But on the inside, they are decaying, they are falling apart, they are destructive in the best sense of the word. And so what we're saying is that take off the masks, you know, because we sometimes use religious masks, we use status, we use position, we use, you know, possessions, prestige, performance, whilst the marriage is absolutely dying. But we cover up. And so what we're saying, don't try to be perfect, because only God is perfect. And that is what we're striving to. God is love. And where there's the absence of love in a marriage, that's hell. Because whenever God is absent, there's hell. There's absolute hell. And so, yes. And so being imperfect is not a problem. Covering it up, hiding it behind the illusion of perfection, that is the problem. And so what we're saying, we are all imperfect in some way. Acknowledge your imperfections. And once we have acknowledged our imperfections, you can then work on it. Nothing can be done about something that is not being acknowledged. And so if we want to move from this illusion of perfect marriages to becoming healthy marriages, we're going to have to treat each other as people and partners who have imperfections, and we need to begin to embrace those imperfections perfectly. And once we begin to do that, we all of a sudden begin to have more respect for one another, more appreciation for one another, and we begin to trust one another better. We become more open and transparent with one another because the environment is safe to be vulnerable, to be imperfect.
Yeah.
And instead of judging and criticizing and comparing, we're creating an environment where the partners are feeling safe to talk about their imperfections. So that's the gist of the book. Okay.
That is
And I
so
also,
amazing. That is so
yes,
amazing. Carry on.
yeah. I also think that we need to understand that God doesn't put us together in spite of our imperfections. We are put together because of those imperfections. You know, when you look at a puzzle piece, two very different shapes and pieces, they are totally, completely imperfect. The moment they interlock with one another, they become a solid force, right?
That's
A
good.
beautiful, beautiful picture of perfection. And so there is value in acknowledging your imperfections. There is value in embracing each other's imperfections.
Yeah.
But most importantly, there is value in beginning to treat one another as imperfect beings striving to become perfect, because only God is perfect, right? And we're trying to become like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is good. That is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I just say another thing quickly?
Yes. Carry on.
Justine, we often confuse in these marriages, in our marriages, we often confuse unity for uniformity.
Wow.
Unity speaks of us being different and embracing that. Uniformity speaks of us needing to become, feel, look the same. Now, this is what I want us to understand. The moment we become exactly like the other person, we think like the other person, we feel like the other person, Justine, one of us will be unnecessary because you are exactly the same. And so we should never
I
strive
agree
for
with you.
sameness. Yeah? Yeah.
Like, I'm a twin. I tell people this all the time. I'm a twin, and we are two different people. Different, totally not the same.
Yes.
But I think, Doc, and I'm speaking for myself, if I knew all this, I was just telling the viewers earlier that if I knew that marriage was this way, I think you'd have made better decisions and you'd have said better stuff, to each other.
Yes.
You'd have argued. You'd have argued lovably, if you understand what I mean. You'd have not argued with wanting to destroy or wanting to hurt, because as I say, women are elephants. We keep everything here, and you as a man, you forget what happened yesterday. And tomorrow we bring something from 1925 out, and we tell you, do you remember that time? And stuff. But people like you, and your book has inspired women, and you see all the women on here, popping up, have inspired women to understand that we don't have to be doing this all the time. It doesn't mean that we have to go on social media and vent, but there's people like you who's been called out to help people like us, to make better decisions. I think personally, I was speaking about maybe the way counseling has been premarital counseling has been orchestrated. I think there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been said in premarital counseling, because all you hear is it's just a straightforward thing, and get married is from God, and da 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 da. And I say to people, and before you came on, I said I packed my bags, and Willie will be laughing downstairs, or maybe not. But we'll sort this out afterwards. But I used to pack my bag every month because I assumed that marriage is a fairy tale. I don't want my husband to get angry with me. I wanted him to say yes to everything I said. So really, that is so important. But how do you deal with, someone just asked now, how do you deal with emotional abuse? someone just asked that question,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to get that
Yes.
answer from you because.
Right, right. Yeah. Just before I answer that, let me just say that all marriages, we believe that all marriages, most marriages, all marriages are made in heaven, but we need to maintain it here on earth. So it's
Yes.
our work. It is
Yes.
not, marriage is not a walk, it's not a work or a walk in a park.
Okay.
It is hard work. And like anything, if we work hard at it, we will see the results of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just quickly back to emotional abuse. Emotional abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, whatever the abuse, if you as the partner experience that as abuse, emotional abuse, it's going to degrade you, it's going to devalue you, it's going to make you feel, you know, not appreciating yourself. It's going to make you feel that you are a thing, you are nothing. And when you begin to think and feel that way, you begin to behave like that. And emotional abuse is worse than physical abuse, because physical abuse, you can see, okay, you know, somebody punched me or whatever, but emotional, it's external. But emotional abuse, it is internal. The hurt, the woundedness that it causes you internally will be with you for a very, very, very long time. You will be moving from one relationship to the next relationship. And if you have not dealt with your internalized emotional damage inflicted and caused by somebody else, you're going to take that as a suitcase and a baggage from one to the next relationship. You know, that emotional abuse is so serious and so damaging and so devastating if it's undealt with. If it's not acknowledged, it is going to define you. It is going to define everything of who you are and what you become. It's going to define your dreams. It's going to mess you up like you cannot even begin to imagine.
That's so true.
And so when you begin to, when you sense emotional abuse, you're going to have to address it with your partner. You're going to have to be brave enough in a way that would invite conversation. You don't want to address it in a way that flick the emotional abuse, right? You don't want to address emotional abuse by emotional abuse, because that's what we're doing. We react, we don't respond. So we receive the emotional abuse, we sense it, and then we react instead of responding. Okay? But you would know when it is emotional abuse, because you know your feelings better than anybody else. And it would be great for you to say to your partner, not, look what you have done to me. You say to your partner, I feel really hurt. I feel really wounded. I feel really sad and bad that you could have even said something like this. So it's not blaming and pointing fingers at your partner. It is saying how you feeling because of what is being done and said. Okay, so you don't criticize, because if you do that, your partner will become reactive. He or she will react to you, and that could even be worse. You know, you just end up in a very vicious, destructive cycle. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm from the ghetto. Ons het mes gesteek. Mes. Gosh. That is so amazing. I love what you said. I love what you said. You react instead of responding. Am I right?
Yes. Exactly.
And I'm sure your reaction have to be of a response that will be lovable instead of criticizing. Okay.
Let me just quickly, just before you go to the last question, because I think it's important that we understand what a reaction and a response is. When it's a reaction, for example, if you're very angry, right? Your action will be an aggressive response. When it is a aggressive reaction, when it is a response, it will be firm, it will be assertive, but it will not ugly, aggressive
Okay.
Reaction. You know, so in the tone, in the attitude, you say exactly what you want to say, but with the reaction, what you're wanting to say get lost in the reaction. So people hear they hear the screaming, they see what you're doing, they see the knife and all of those things, but they don't get the message.
Yeah.
The message gets lost. Okay.
Yeah. But I think it's a man thing. Like, I'm raising boys, and I think when I shout too hard at my boys as well, they block it off. I've seen it, you know, and I've seen it when my oldest son is 29 this year, mine.
Yes.
And then we have a 25-year-old that he's just the most humble because he's not used to my boys shouting 25 years. Now imagine being in a marriage where you have a wife sounding like a Chihuahua dog for 25 years. Wah, 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 wah. You know, I hope I'm not that kind of wife. My husband is on, so you should actually be honest. I've prayed not to be, you know, a nagging wife. That I will be. I'd rather go silent. And I say to people that I'm not someone that believe in the term of don't let the sun go down in your anger. I'd rather sleep over it, so I can make sure I don't hurt my partner the next day. And I've learned this only in in this last, say, the last almost year of my marriage. And this, you know, going into my 11th year, because for 10 years I was boxing, and understanding that what are you doing here? Like, you're literally fighting with yourself. You're fighting with the hurts of yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm fighting my husband for my hurts and not what he was doing to me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which
Absolutely
was so wrong. And I figured this out. Now I'm like,
wonderful.
Now we need people like Leon to come and fix us here. You know, we need some fixing done.
That is absolutely right. You then end up with an internalized crisis. You're fighting yourself, you know, and what I mean, that's the worst form of destroying yourself, fighting yourself for what other people inflicted on you. You know, I
think that's amazing. What advice would you give new and upcoming partners, the people who's getting married soon? You know, let's say, what advice would we give them? How do we start this off?
Yes, I think we need to understand that when we fall in love with one another, it is not a 50-50% thing. You need to be 100% you. You need to be absolutely confident in terms of who you are. And I'm not talking about what you have and what you've acquired. I'm talking about who you are from the inside out. You need to be confident in terms of that. Because if you are not, you're going to go into a marriage hoping that somebody else will fill and make that which is missing in you, you know, complete it for you. Somebody cannot complete you. You need to be going into marriage feeling confident that you bring all of who you are into that marriage. Okay, that is critically important. But it's also important, Justine, that we understand that marriage is more than just you know, the emotional feelings that we're feeling. And therefore it is so critically important that people do go for premarital counseling, you know, where you are helped and where you are guided to understand each other, to understand yourself, to understand your, you know, your sexual life, to understand your physical needs, your emotional needs, to understand finances, to understand the challenges that you might be having yourself. So it is, we go for learners, we go for driver's lessons, but when it comes to the most important thing, we are ill prepared for marriage. Therefore, we go into marriage. Yeah, we go into marriage hoping that it's going to be, as you have said earlier on, this fairy tale thing, and then you get the shock of your life when you discover that this is not what you have envisioned it to be. And so I would say to people, go into marriage with your eyes open. Love can make us blind. Marriage has your umbrella upset. Okay, right? Marriage will open your eyes. marriage will open your eyes. Yeah. And so premarital counseling, I would highly recommend. Yes.
That's good. Pre-counseling, guys, premarital counseling. I know I said last question, but something popped up now. If you have just gone through a divorce, how do you, I know this is like, I can't answer that question. That's why we have you.
Right.
How do you bounce back from a divorce? And of course, it wasn't your fault. According to you, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
But how do you bounce back after a divorce?
Right. I think first thing first, there can never be a situation where you are not at fault. All right. So listen carefully to me. What I'm saying is that whenever there is a situation, wherever there's a scenario, whenever there's a challenge, we're needing to say to ourselves, there's a problem here. I'm not a problem. This person is not a problem, but we do have a relationship. All of us have a relationship with this problem.
Wow.
So what is my part in this problem? So the minute we begin to say or start off by saying, it is all this person's fault, it is not my fault, you are in total denial. You are in denial about what you could have contributed, which means that you're not going to work on that.
Yeah.
Even after the divorce, you're not going to work on it because you believe that you have not contributed anything. Now, the contribution can either be active or inactive. The contribution can be having allowed these things to happen to you and not having done anything about it, and therefore you now believe that you have not done anything. The fact that you have not done anything is part of your contribution because you have perpetuated the behavior of that person. You hear what I'm saying?
I get you.
So,
that is so powerful. We can have you on here forever because you are just such a pot of wisdom. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you're very tired today. Thank you so much for taking this time to share all this advice with us. We're going to bring you up for something else. Something you mentioned. We want to bring you up with this. We're not going to speak about now. Maybe we want to bring you and friend Leon up, you know, in the next chat where we can speak about sex in marriage.
Yeah.
People don't want to speak about it. And since that's why I have late night chats. You know, we had a bit of a steamy chat a few weeks back.
Yes.
We want to speak about the idea of Africans not wanting to express themselves in a fulfilling way to their partners. I'm bringing you up with that, but not tonight. Otherwise, I see all the girls are now clapping hands. We're not going to be. I tell you.
And you need to give me some. You need to give me some time to practice this before I come and tell you about the theory. Okay?
I tell you, girls, we'll give you all the skill you need. I promise you. I
wow!
made it so clear that I wanted just ladies to watch because we really want to just help women. You know, but there's a lot of men who peep in. So these girls are very feisty that we have on here. Thank you so much. Thank your wife for giving your time to us.
Most welcome.
I know you were so tired today and you made time for us. We miss you. I want to say,
I'm sorry about this, man.
No,
I'm sorry about this, eh? Okay. Right. No, my arm is now very sore because I had to keep this thing the whole time in my arm, hey? In my hand.
Both of us are talkers, so it's all. Guys, all you guys up here, can we do a fundraising for a phone stand for Dr. Klein, please?
Yes, Mike. Can you see? Here's it, but it's broken, man. With all the fiddling around.
Take your time and your effort. And
most welcome. Most welcome. Okay. Take care. Look after yourself, eh? Bye-bye. Bye.
All right. Bye. Bye, guys.